So first, let's start with limiting your liability. So as a business owner, you'll be working with suppliers, employees, customers. Let's say you have a coffee shop and people come into your coffee shop to drink the coffee. You have employees who serve the coffee and suppliers who provide your coffee products. So on a daily basis, your shop will be doing business with hundreds of people who will be coming in and going out. But what happens if one of those transactions goes wrong? Potential customer slips, falls, breaks their hand, and files a lawsuit. If there are claims against your company, they can reach your business assets, your business accounts, and in this scenario, your personal assets, your home, your personal bank accounts, vehicles, and investments. And that's unfortunate because if you've started a business, you've invested in it, you've put those items you've invested at risk, but you probably didn't anticipate putting your personal assets at risk. So how do you protect those personal assets? Well, let's see what happens if you do have limited liability protection. So the same scenario, a customer files a lawsuit against you, but this time one difference. You have an LLC in place. So what that does is it insulates your liability to only the business assets, the business accounts, and protects your personal assets. So this red line I've put here expresses the division between claims related to the company and your personal assets, which would no longer be accessible. So in this hypothetical, if it's a particularly bad lawsuit, the coffee shop may lose its coffee making machine, may lose its coffee, its business accounts, but the owner won't lose their home or their personal bank accounts. And so a lot of people ask, well, doesn't business insurance do this? Why do you need an LLC if, let's say you have general liability insurance? And that's true. It may be a good idea to have business liability insurance in place, but unfortunately all insurance policies have exclusions, so things that are not covered, and they have total coverage limitations. So if it is a lawsuit for more than the policy limits, the only thing that's going to protect your personal assets, if that lawsuit is successful, will be a limitation of liability. And so others have asked, what about professional services or consulting? What if I'm just providing general services? I don't have people coming into my area of business. Well, that may be true, but if you provide advice that they rely upon and they lose a substantial amount of money, they're likely to file a lawsuit. Here again, you have the benefit of this LLC protection to insulate business assets from your personal assets. So a lot of people ask, doesn't simply filing with the state of Ohio give me that limitation of liability? Well, let's look at an example. In this case, let's say you own commercial rental property. You have a lease for that property. You are the landlord. And one day you decide, okay, I've had this property in my name. I've heard about LLCs. I want an LLC. So you go and you file with the state of Ohio and you have Smith Rental LLC. Well, do you now have a limitation of liability? Well, not yet. Just filing with the state doesn't mean you automatically have limited liability. The property is still in your personal name in this scenario, and until you move that property into the LLC, you do not have any limitation of liability. Now, you saw that step there. There's one additional step that would need to be taken. You can see the lease agreement still is in the landlord's name personally. And this is a mistake that some people do make. They don't update their existing agreements where if you create an LLC, you move your property into it, you also need to update your existing lease agreements to make sure that everything is formalized and properly in place.